Hey guys, so I just have if hey guys, so I just have a big kind of a warning for everybody, and that's a warning about their mechanisms. Why did I do that? Whatever. Um, so basically, what you're gonna want to do is if you're being attacked right now, if you're being like spiritually attacked, like, and I'd say probably in a pretty severe way. If you're listening to this, I imagine that I ended up becoming more popular or whatever, and you might likely be one of the few, perhaps few real people there is. I don't know, maybe everyone's real and people just get commandeered by the devil. Perhaps that's it. But whatever the case may be, the warning is if they're coming after you, that means you already have what they want. If they're coming after you, that means it's not like you have to get it. Now, here's the thing, like I don't want to mislead anybody, so check what I say against your experience. Check what I say against, of course, against the truth, right? Um, and I'd rather you go with what's true rather than what I say if they ever differ. However, if they're coming after you, it might be that you already have what they want. Basically, they're not going to be coming after you if you aren't. Basically, if you're still alive, let's put it that way, a predator might be coming after you. Otherwise, they're going to be eating you, right? So a hyena and a lion. A lion's only going to be running after that lion and trying to swipe at that lion, or wait, what? Oh, a lion is only going to be running after that hyena. See, you might. Here's the thing. I just got into seemingly like a spooky little situation, but a lion seems to be going after a hyena and attacking that hyena when that hyena is still alive. All right. I don't know if they actually kill hyenas in real life. Whatever. This is a metaphor. When when the hyena's dead, then the lion will be eating the hyena or he'll walk away because he's already done with it or whatever, right? If he's still going after it, that means that that hyena is still alive and that hyena potentially still, you would imagine, say like somebody like grabbed onto it and like pulled it up in a helicopter, potentially that hyena might be fine. And that for all intents and purposes, I guess that hyena still is fine, right? However, um, while the lion is running after the hyena, or while the people are gang stalking you, or while your parents or your family, your dark evil family, all named after biblical names, and then they're like it's sort of like a mockery slash inversion, whatever. Yeah, guess what my father's middle name is? It's Callahan, and that would be like father. Literally, there's a character in Stephen King's book Salem's Lot, as well as appearing in The Dark Tower, named Father Callahan. Guess what my mom's name is? Same name as Jesus's mom. Guess what one of her sisters' name is? Same name as Mary's sister in the Bible. Guess what another sister of hers name is? Same name as a sister that she met, or a person that she met, as a sister or cousin, I don't know, in a literal one of the mysteries of one of the mystery sets of the Rosary. Another sister is another biblical name. Then we have my godfather. Guess what his name is? A famous king from the Bible. There's a king from the Bible called King Blank, not Solomon. The most famous king from the Bible, not Herod. No, from the Old Testament, King. What the name that you think it is? It's probably that name. Guess whom he is? He's my godfather, right? I apparently my whole life has been set up as some kind of evil mockery. Um, because I can tell you these people aren't good, right? I can tell you these people aren't actually, they may have been nicer to me or less nice to me throughout my life, but looking at them clearly, like they're not good people. And it seems like basically my entire family system might be like some kind of dark coven. I might get to the end of my life and it'll literally be like Rosemary's Baby. I'm not going to give you a spoiler, but let's just say that there's something that happens in Rosemary's Baby, basically right at the end. I might get to the end of my life and it'll be like the end of that movie. Check out that movie. It's a good gang stalking movie. If there's one good gang stalking movie, and I've watched a few of them, it's Rosemary's Baby. Check out Young Goodman Brown as well, the story by Nathaniel Hawthorne, short story. That's basically like a gang stalking short story. This guy, I'll give you a brief synopsis. Basically, like this guy goes out on this mission or something in the night, and or on this journey, and he's leaving his wife behind or something. He's going to come back, I suppose. But then, like, let's just say that at the end of that story, let's just say that it seems like he might have been the only one not in on the plan. All right. Now that's interesting. Basically, these seem like huge fucking hints, huge truth drops, not to mention Eyes Wide Shut by Stanley Kubrick. And these aren't little movies. That's not a little short story. These are some of the biggest things of all time. Eyes Wide Shut, the last movie by Stanley Kubrick. And guess what it is? It's Tom Cruise walking around the city. And Tom Cruise, ultimately, it seems like you might say, I'm not quite sure, but it seems like he might be the only one, other than perhaps his wife and child, who isn't part of this big group and who doesn't know what's going on, right? He might be I think it's another gang stalking movie. He might literally be the only person who's not part of the clan, right? So here's the thing though, if they're all coming after you, if the devil's coming after you, this is sort of a cliche, but I think it bears repeating here, then that means you already have what they want. That means you're already fine. And it may not mean that you're going to be fine or that they're not going to in some way, I don't know, like basically I'm not saying like let your guard down and just go break bread with the enemies and enemies or whatever. Like I'm not, and again, Ephesians something, they say, oh, we fight not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities, evil spirits in high places, whatever. It's like, okay, Ephesians 6:12, right before the full armor of God, and gird your loins with truth, everybody. But even the people who think they're evil, gird your loins with truth. Maybe you'll stop gang stalking people and stuff. But maybe you can break out of it too. And maybe while you're still alive, like while you're still physically living, you're fine. But or at least whatever. But in any case, in RPG life, it says you're already fine, right? The sentence associated with RPG life, associated with electivity, bolded period rather, electivity period with the period bolded, it's you are okay period. I have them on my wall. On my wall over there, it says the only way they can get you period. You are not okay period. That's the only way they can get you is for you to think you're not okay. And this leads into my message here, which is I've had this as well. I've had this literally up until this morning, and then I just had a big fucking wake up call, and I was like, oh my god, like it felt like I had my head in the fucking lion's jaw for a little bit. But basically, if you're going around thinking like Yes has an album called Going for the One. If you're going around thinking I got to go for the one, like oh I'm not quite there yet, like George Clooney and Up in the Air, I have a number in mind, and I have a number in my mind, and I haven't reached it yet. He's talking about airline miles, but nevertheless, that might be an interesting thing as well. And I read that book and I saw that movie. But okay, hold on. What is it? Walter Kern or something wrote the book. But actually, I remember my friend saying that she thought the book was bad or something. And anyway, whatever. If they're coming after you, then you're already fine. Then you have what they want. Then basically, if you're going to Walmart and basically, Tom Waits, everybody knew me at the dump, 10 people surrounded my car. If you're going to Walmart and more or less, I almost said Walmart. If you're going to Walmart and more or less 10 people surround your car, that means you have what they want. That means they still haven't gotten you yet. And that means that basically if you have the sense of like, oh, I'm going for it, like, oh, like because I've been sort of wrapped up in this, and like I'm glad I wrote down all the RPG life stuff and everything, because in the past few, like really for years, I've sort of been like sort of intent on like, okay, like I'm on the path, and I'm like spiritually it just feels like okay, like I'm heading towards the end of the woods. I'm in the dark woods and I'm heading towards the end, and it's like, oh, like I'm pulling myself, like, oh, I'm going, oh, I got caught in a bush here, oh, like, but I'm going towards it. I'm not quite out of it, but it's like, no, Matt, that's all a fucking illusion. You are out of it. But if you spend enough time in that illusion, then you may end up finding yourself grabbing hold of something. You may end up finding yourself like basically having attaching to something, and it's that still doesn't mean that you're not okay, but you may find yourself basically getting what you hoped for or getting what you were looking for, but that in itself might actually be that like basically you then took on you then took on the idea that like, okay, now I have finally built the perfect ego, or I have finally destroyed my ego, or I have finally reached enlightenment, and now I'm going to stay static and I'm going to stay still. And I think once you get to that point, that's probably actually the point where, as long as you stay there, that's where they really might have you. And it might seem like all the people stop fucking with you and everything stops like going wrong and everything. That might be the point where actually you have given up your actual life and you have become unburdened.